What is up guys, it's Modded Warfare here and welcome back to another tutorial. So in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you guys how to install the Arbiter 4 rapid fire chip for the Xbox One. Now I did a video on this for the Xbox 360, which was the Arbiter 3 mod chip. So it's basically a modded controller chip that allows you to do ridiculous amounts of different combinations with the controller. So you've got your standard like rapid fire where you hold down the trigger and it acts as if you're tapping it repeatedly very fast. But then it's also got other modes like ultra fire, which is basically jitter if you've ever heard of that. And then loads and loads of other modes. Like this chip has got an insane amount of combinations. There's like jump shot, drop shot, shoot while reloading. It's even got game specific modes like certain Gears of War specific modes and Battlefield specific modes. So it does have a hell of a lot, and I'll probably put all the different combinations and all the different modes up on screen now in an image so that you can see everything that you can do with this mod chip if you install it onto your controller. So yeah, I did a video on this on the Xbox 360, I'll link it in the description if you want to see that. It's basically the exact same as the 360 version, but you can install it on an Xbox One controller. So yeah, let's go ahead and install this. Now, I'm not sure if there's a problem with the chip that I received because it's not marked. Like if you see this chip, this is the chip right here, and there's no markings on it to tell you which points go to what. You know, it's not marked, whereas on the installation guide that I got, the chip on there has lots of markings on it saying like which point is left trigger, which one's right trigger. So I'm not sure if that was a manufacturing error or if they just come like this now without any markings on it. Would definitely appreciate some markings on it though. But whatever, I'll go by the pictures on the install guide, so hopefully we'll be fine. So I've got the controller opened up here. Now what you want to do is open up the controller to this point where you've got the thumbsticks removed. So remove the thumbsticks because then you can lie this flat without it moving about too much. It's easier to work on. So, and also if you're having trouble opening up the Xbox One controller, I have a video on that also that I'll link in the description as well. Shows you how to fully open it up to this point, even further than this point. But all you need to do right now is open it up to this point and we can begin. So the first thing that we need to do is desolder the you've got two little grey wires on each side. They connect to the triggers here. And then you've got these little red wires as well, and they connect to the little motors. What you have to do is desolder those. Get rid of those because we're going to have to take this, we're going to have to unplug this PCB from this one to install the main chip. Even though there are going to be wires that solder to certain points on this chip as well. But we're going to have to desolder these first of all, so let's go ahead and do that. I've had people in the video I did on opening up the controller ask me if a lot of people don't use the vibration in the controller. So they say like, do I need to keep the rumble pads attached? Like if I clip them off with a pair of scissors or something, then is that fine? And I can just put the controller back together and just do without the vibration, or even take the whole motors out. And you can do that. It's totally possible to do that. If you don't want the little motors, just remove them, desolder the wires. The controller will work fine without the vibration mode. So yeah, you can do that if you wish. Okay, so now we have to prep a few points on this back PCB here first. There's a few ones that we're going to have to prep. Okay, so one of the points that we're going to have to prep first of all is this one right here. So you want to make sure that's the one you're prepping. So the next one we have to prep is right here. Okay, so the next one is U11. Right here you've got this little black chip, and then there are two sort of solder points that are coming out from that. It's the bottom one you want to prep, so prep that bottom one with a little bit of solder. This point here is going to need to be prepped because there's going to be a wire connecting to that. Okay, so we got a bit of solder on that. Maybe a bit too much, but whatever. I'm not a perfectionist. This controller is for me and not to be sold to anyone, so as long as it works, it works. Okay, so that's pretty much everything we need to prep. So now what we need to do is actually unplug this PCB from this one. So we take this one off, and then we can move this one out of the way, and here we have our sort of main PCB. Okay, so now we have the sort of main board that we're going to be installing the Arbiter 4 chip on. So just like Arbiter 3, we are going to have to scrape off the little black, this little black bit right here on the left next to SW3. So SW3, we're going to have to scrape SW3 away with a knife. Okay, so you should be able to see that we've now scraped away that black, and we've got a bit of copper showing up that we'll be able to make a connection to. So the chip goes on like this. Okay, we have successfully bridged that point. So now we've got to do this, and again, I'm kind of annoyed that there's no markings on this to tell you which one to solder. I might actually do the sync button first, because then that'll hold it in place on this side, and then it'll be fully secure, because right now this side is just all over the place. So if I do the sync button, and then do the rest after that, because then that'll hold that all in place. Okay, so going by the little install guide picture, and I'll use these images on screen for you guys, it looks like we are doing the third one in. So from the bottom here, 1, 2, 3, so it's the third one in that we've got to do. I'd say that point is well and truly bridged. So that's the third one in. The one next to it looks like it's bridged, but it's not. That's just tinned that point by mistake. But that third one in is bridged, and that should hold the whole thing in place. It's not moving. So now we'll go ahead and do. I think that's the only point we actually have to do on that side. Yeah, it is. It's the sync button. So all the other ones are done on this one. So there's a few points on this one that have to be done. Okay, so the next one's on here. So with this one, we'll start off at the top. We've got the ground connection, which is apparently the second one in from the top. This one here. Then we have got the one right next to it. Right here, that's what's that? Right bumper by the looks of things. And then we leave out the one next to that, so this one here is left out, nothing there. Then this one is going to be X, and then this one, by the looks of things, BK, which is obviously the back button. So that's this one here, back button. And so that's what we'll do, we'll get those all set up. Okay, that's them all bridged, so you can see which ones they are now. So the middle, the one the one at the very top, the one at the very bottom, and the one smack bang in the middle are left out, not soldered, but the other ones are all soldered. So you're just bridging them onto this chip here. So you just gotta keep feeding the solder forward until it bridges, and then you're good. You got them connected. It's not actually as difficult as it may seem, but then again, I'm using a very sort of precision type tip on my soldering iron. A lot of people actually ask me what soldering iron I use. What I'm using is a Precision Gold A55KG. Just bought it off Amazon, I think, quite a while ago. And a little solder ball came off the iron and landed right where it shouldn't. See if I can pick it up. Yes, I can. Perfect. Okay, so the bottom part here, we've got, let's see, looks like 3 points that need to be soldered. Power, A and Y. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done it here. The reason I skipped over it is because it wasn't quite aligned. There was too much of a gap on this one to get it to connect, to bridge over, so I actually had to desolder everything on this side to move it better into position so that I could get those connections. But you can see they're all connected there. There's that one, and that one. And then this one looks like they're all connected, but they're not. Okay, so now we've got to do these red wires, and they have to go to the back of the board. So the second one down here, this first one's the LED, we'll do that one last because it actually has to solder to this board, so that would attach these two boards together and it would make it really difficult to do the other ones. So we'll do the second one in here first. That's SIG, S-I-G. So I'm just going to wrap the wire sort of behind the PCB, and then what we'll do is we'll flip it over and we'll plug it back in here. It doesn't even have to be plugged in, just as long as it's sitting steady enough to attach the wire. So let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, I'm not entirely comfortable with the length of that actually. I think it's a bit too much exposed wire for my liking. So I'm going to just cut a bit off here. That's better. Okay, so that is SIG connected, SIG, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So our next one down is going to be L3. So L3 is this one here. Okay, so third one down now. Tuck it back round, plug this back in. Alright, so that's that one connected as well. So let's see, we've got L3, we've got SIG or SIG. I have to keep referring to the installation guide, guys, because this one, you can see, actually has LED, SIG, L3, LT, all the information on it, whereas this one is, the one I have is just completely blank, which is rather irritating, but whatever. We'll do without it. Okay, so left trigger and right trigger. These are the ones I don't like doing because we have to solder next to a resistor and a capacitor. Very, very small resistor and a very, very small capacitor. It's not something I like doing because what can often happen is the resistor could come off, and if the resistor or capacitor comes off, then the controller is completely ruined. which is really not what I want. Okay, so finally this fourth wire is indeed left trigger, and I said I'd leave the triggers till last, apart from the LED connection obviously. So I'm going to tuck that wire behind, and once again put this back in. It may not quite look as if it's attached to both. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's there's a resistor and a capacitor right next to it. The wire needs to run and connect to both resistors. Well, one resistor, one capacitor. So it needs to be connected to both of them at the bottom. So you can clearly see this one's connected. This one is connected as well, it's just not as clear. Problem is, for these really small joints, this camera just, like, if I zoom in any further than this, blur. There's no way to even manual focus, there's no way to actually get this to actually focus. If this is any closer, you can see it just gone, blur. So right trigger is here. Again, not sure why this one's missing. It's supposed to be L3 or R3, something like that, and it's missing. So okay then, I guess, no R3 for me. Okay, so a couple of things I forgot to mention are that on older controllers, apparently there's a little sort of black sticker type thing that is covering a lot of the points that you have to solder wires to. I think there's usually one here, also one over here. You just have to peel that off with a pair of tweezers or a knife or something. And finally, when you come to reconnect these grey and black wires, remember that the black is the negative and the grey is positive, so plus, grey is plus and black is minus. And when it comes to the rumble pads as well, if you're reconnecting these little motors, then you're going to want to make sure that red is positive, so red is plus and black is negative, minus. So just bear that in mind if you're reconnecting that stuff. Obviously you need to reconnect the grey and black wires for the triggers, that's very important. But the rumble pads, as I said before, the little rumble motors, it's up to you if you want to reconnect that or not. Okay, so finally guys, I don't recommend reconnecting these straight away if you are planning on reconnecting them. They're for the controller vibration. If you're going to reconnect those, then wait till later. I would recommend testing it first. So you still need to obviously do the grey and black wires because those are for the triggers. There's no getting away from that, I guess. But what you can do is not reconnect the rumble pads. Test the controller first, make sure that everything's working, and then once everything's working, then you can reconnect these if you wish. Okay guys, I've put this all back together now, and apologies for the darkness, but that's deliberate so that you can see the LED light quite clearly. Okay, so the way you test this to make sure it works, now I've fully put this back together, I've put all the screws in because I did test the way I told you to test without putting the screws back in first, and it was working fine, so I put it all back together. So the way you actually use this chip, the way you switch between the modes, it's all done through the sync button and the right trigger. So if you hold down the right trigger and then you press the sync button, you see it flashed once, and then if I let go, it flashed once back to me and stayed on. That means we're in mode 1. So mode 1 is ultra fire. Let's say I want rapid fire, which is mode 2. Then what I'm going to do is hold down the right trigger and press the sync button twice. So 1, 2, and it flashes back each time you press it. Then if I let go of the right trigger, it will flash back twice to say you're in mode 2. So I'm now in mode 2, which is rapid fire. Mode 3, can't remember what mode 3 is, but let's say I want to go into mode 3. Same idea, hold down right trigger, 1, 2, 3, flashes back 3 times, we're in mode 3. That's how it works. That's how you switch between the different modes. Now there's also a speed adjustable mode as well, so that you can adjust the speed of how fast it taps the trigger, or it activates the trigger when you hold it down. That's to get around different games' level of mod blocks. So you know, different Call of Duty games will have different levels of mod blocks, so you can adjust the speed to get it just right for that game. The way you do that is you go into mode 10, which is user programmable mode. So you hold down the right trigger and you go 10 times with the sync button. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it won't flash back this time, it should just stay off. That means you're in the user programmable mode. So to increase the speed, you press the left trigger and it flashes back to say that you've increased the speed. So I can increase the speed by doing that, so that's increasing the speed modes. And then I can decrease the speed if I hold down A and press the left trigger. That decreases the speed. So I can go up the speed modes and I can go down the speed modes. And that's how that works. And then when you're done, you just tap the sync button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it flashbacks 6 times to say that we're in speed mode 6. So that's how that works. And then I want to go back to say rapid fire mode. You can flash it twice. And we're in mode 2, rapid fire. So that's how that works, guys. That's how the controller works. That's how you can adjust the speed of how fast the right trigger is being pressed, and how you can change between the different modes on the controller. So yeah, that's basically how it works. If you're wondering about the blue LED, I've covered that in another video, how to change the LED light out with a different coloured LED. I'll also link that in the description as well. But yeah, that's basically it. And the other cool thing about this controller is you can turn the mod off completely just by tapping the sync button once. And that's it, it's off completely. So I find this really useful when I'm playing, say, like Call of Duty Zombies. I'll be playing in the starting room where you get the pistol and you get the M14, and I'll just turn the mod on, so I have rapid fire with the pistol and the M14, and then when I get a bit further on into the game and I buy a fully automatic gun off the wall, then I don't need the rapid fire mod, so I just tap the sync button and that turns the mod off completely and I can continue playing. So really handy how you can just toggle that on and off. But yeah, that's how it works, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video or you found the information useful. Go ahead and leave a like if you liked the video or found the information useful. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I'm shuffling.